So let's go ahead and quickly chat without using face cam, without swinging around because my hair is still really tight to my head and I look silly. I look bald. I look bald, Domino. Um, yeah. So I think I really need to come to grips with the fact, and I'm really trying to lately. I'm trying to come to grips with the fact that well, I'm my own worst enemy, and I always have been, and I know that. I'm aware of that for sure. But it's more than that. It's become more real in a new way. So, I'm the kind of person that has always, I think since I was about around 11 years old, suffered with anxiety. Pretty bad, like pretty crippling anxiety, social anxiety, um, like homesickness, anxiety, stuff like that. Like pretty typical childhood stuff, but like even more so. And that just steadily evolved as I got older, and then the social anxiety kicked in more. And then other stuff happened, and then depression, and then other stuff happened, and then PTSD, and then all those kind of like undiagnosed, untreated things went on for so long that they kind of, and life continues, and everything kind of like fragmented and evolved and mutated into their own little thing. So it's like I have my official diagnoses, and I also have unofficial diagnoses. I don't know how you want to say it. That are pretty much just like, well, if we did the test, you would be diagnosed with it, kind of thing. Like I'm pretty confident, whatever. Some of those things being OCP, obsessive compulsive personality, and BPD, borderline personality disorder. And while those kinds of things can fluctuate based on my state of life, like while I'm managing symptoms, I'm managing other things while I'm in a good spot. A lot of my a lot of those traits that are that negatively impact me can be dulled and kind of compartmentalized. But it's when I get into a chaotic lifestyle, when stress really takes over, that all those other idiosyncrasies come out to play, and they all kind of start fighting for dominance, right? So like the anxiety comes out, which then brings on depression because whatever, and then the depression starts to take over, and then when I get out of the depression, the anxiety sets back in. So it's like sinking, sinking, sinking. I'm coming back up, anxiety, sinking, sinking, sinking. It's like, and then in between all of that stuff is like all my little nuances of just how my brain operates, and makes a lot of coping mechanisms, makes a lot of lifestyle changes, and makes a lot of just daily existing difficult internally. And that's the thing, is I've gotten very good at masking myself, and maybe not even just masking, because I do mask, obviously. Like you put on the performance for people, whether you're at work, whether you're around family or friends, or in my case, making YouTube videos or something, or streaming. You put on a performance, but like behind closed doors, in my room, that shit is in full swing, but it's all just like contained within my brooding exterior. And I say all this because I'm getting to how I am manifesting that all those all that brain sludge, how it's been manifesting the past 2 years or so, year or two. I mean, honestly, time has gotten to be in such a flux state. I can't keep track of when things even began. So, for those of you paying attention on the channel, I've been having the stomach problems, I was having the cardiovascular problems, and now I'm having like physical pain problems. And I am now at the point where I'm on a third unique painful experience, and I understand that a lot of, if not, I am hesitant to say all of, because I know it's not all of, because I've olives, because it's not all of my cardiovascular issues, because I've had some problems in the past, not like big problems, but like With caffeine intake and stuff like that has definitely, I don't even know what's on TV right now. I think it's like World War II documentary stuff. I've had issues with taking in too much caffeine, so that could possibly lead to having some type of damage. Which, as far as we know, there's no damage. But then I have had stomach problems in the past, and lately it's been manifesting as just like lots of physical torso pains and stuff like that, like feeling like a bunch of my organs are fighting each other with brass knuckles like all day. And I'll, again, I'm always so hesitant to say, because I don't want to, in a way, I feel like acknowledging what I think could be very well the truth of it feels like it discredits my experience and makes me feel kind of crazy, because all of my tests have been coming back fine and clean. Like all of my blood work, all of my like urine samples, and whatever. Any tests I've done so far to try to determine what's causing a lot of the pain. My colonoscopies keep coming back clear. All this stuff has come back clear, and which stresses me out, because it's like, okay, well, then there's some underlying issue somewhere. You just dig and dig and dig and dig and dig and dig, and you find nothing, and then it makes you feel like a fucking crazy person. But at the end of the day, what I am really coming to grips now, which has always been in the back of my mind, but now it's been like, all right, I'm on the third persistent issue, that it is my anxiety doing it to me. Okay, I had to walk out of the living room because Nid came out to make food. But what I was saying was, so I believe it pretty much at this point fully to just be, not just, but to the severity of my problems lately to be my anxiety going into overload, you know, whether it's causing me to have palpitations, because that's my problem, is when things happen, then and I become aware of it as like, oh, it happened twice, then it becomes a thing of like, now it's going to consistently happen for like 2 weeks straight, because my brain takes hold of it and declares it to be an absolute circumstance. So when I have, say, palpitations, when I wake up, so like I'll be sleeping and I'll wake up and I'll be like, my heart will be going boop, 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 boop. And then that'll happen, say, once. I'll be like, oh, okay, whatever. I won't even remember it in the morning sometimes. And then it'll happen again. I'll go, oh, wait, that's the second night in a row that happened. And then now suddenly for the next 2 weeks, it's happening every night. Because because I guess I latched onto it. And now I'm manifesting it. And that's the thing, is I'm not like imagining it. It is physically happening to me. But I think I saw a video on YouTube Shorts the other day talking about how old trauma can sometimes reappear later in life as physical symptoms. And whether or not it's trauma you can address or tolerate, it's just the way that your body stores that trauma, resolved or unresolved, can manifest as physical symptoms later on in life, and even during whatever's happening too. So it's either I'll have the palpitations, or I'll go and I'll have, and trigger warning, bowel problems. I'll have bowel problems for like 2 weeks. It's like every single day for a week, for 2 weeks, almost every day for 2 weeks, whatever. It's like 5 out of 7 days for 2 weeks in a row, I'll just have terrible stomach cramps. But while I'm having the stomach cramps, I'm not having the palpitations. And then more recently, I haven't been having stomach problems or nightly palpitations ever since I started having these current problems. So I think right now I'm at the point where the other problems I've been having were the prelude, were the foreplay of my brain teasing me, trying to make me think there was something wrong with me because I had an issue once and then it perpetuated. It was a self perpetuating cycle, and then it just keeps evolving because those things reach a dead end of no answers. So it's like, okay, so something else must be wrong, and then my body creates new symptoms for something new for me to chase. And again, that's not to say that these things are entirely made up, because as a kid I grew up having really bad nausea. Like, I was nauseous every single day before going to school, and now I look back and say, well, my anxiety was making me nauseous, and yes, it was. But then I would have completely unrelated instances of collapsing to the ground because my stomach hurt so bad at like 7 p.m. while shoveling snow, and then to have like a bathroom emergency issue. And that would happen to me like maybe once a year. But the thing is, it did happen unrelated to anxiety. Could have been, like I said, stored trauma manifesting itself or something, but or just bad dietary habits, who knows. And then palpitations. I had panic attacks growing up. I always had my anxiety issues. I think anxiety was my first mental illness I was ever given. So yay. And that's always manifested itself in different ways throughout my entire life, all the time. So it's hard to really pinpoint what it is, and that's the issue: is, am I going to allow myself to get comfortable and to accept the fact, the potential fact, that most of, if not all of these issues I keep running into are just my own brain and my body working against what I know and what is, If I accept that, my fear is, cause like, my biggest fear, like, besides, I think cancer's at the top of everybody's list, but my biggest fear outside of that, excluding that, is having a heart attack. And thus palpitations happen, thus panic attacks happen, thus I start mimicking symptoms that feel like a heart attack. And that's what I've been dealing with. So my fear on top of that is, do I accept it for what it is and then acknowledge that I'm doing it to myself somehow, that my body's doing it, get myself into that thought cycle, and then hopefully get past these things and deal with it and work with it? But my fear is, if I do that, what if I'm wrong and I miss something in doctor visits because I decided, oh, I don't need to do this because it's just myself doing it. So then what if by accepting it, I neglect finding the issue, and then I have a medical issue, then I have a heart attack or something like that, you know what I mean? So it's like, that's like the catch-22 of it. It's, do I ignore it or work with it and just accept it and hopefully it goes away, and then something goes wrong, or do I keep focusing on it and it keeps getting worse, and then eventually I just get so exhausted that it stops? I don't know. Because while I've been having these current chest pain, musculoskeletal issues and organ pains and stuff, I've not had bowel problems. And while I have the bowel problems, I don't have the cardiovascular issues. So they all seem to be very individual, very, like, there's walls between each one of them. It's an arsenal of stressful shit that my body is doing to me. And I don't even know why. Because currently, the biggest stressor in my life, that's not any of the big, persistent issues we all deal with, being money and the pursuit of fucking happiness, are the problems themselves, are the pains themselves. And the stress of having to keep up with doctor's visits and remember timelines of when things hurt, how they hurt, what I was doing, what I ate, and trying to keep up with all this stuff and keep up with my typical mental health stuff, try to keep up with work and the physical demand of work, trying to stay on top of my writing, which is a stress, stress factor trying to keep on top of YouTube and stuff. My PC keeps breaking, and like all those things are my stressors. But like the biggest stressors of all right now are just the things that are being caused by the stress. So they're just, it's an Ouroboros, it's eating itself. It's infinitely eating itself. And I don't know what to do about it. Because it's not like I haven't talked about it in therapy. You know, I go to therapy. Although I haven't been like a month and a half because of just scheduling issues on both my side and their side. But that's nobody's fault. Well, sometimes it's my fault because I just say I don't feel good and I can't come in. But, you know, okay, that's not my fault. Whatever. So, yeah, I don't know. That's just kind of what I'm thinking about because I've been thinking about this and I know it, like, to be true that I'm doing it to myself. But it's just acknowledging that, is that enough for it to, like, pull back, you know? Because if you know me at all, you know that I'm never one to choose optimism when I could choose pessimism. Because if I choose to be optimistic, that is when things go wrong because my guard is down. And because the universe has a cosmic sense of comedy. That way, as soon as I accept things and things are good and I start looking forward to the future and I start to get like, yay, I'm going to do this, that, and this, that, and this. I'm going to save money and do this. Boom. Sudden bills that fuck me over to where I have negative $200 in my bank account. Boom. Mental health crisis and physical issues that pop up out of nowhere. Boom. Your house burns down. Like, as soon as I try to accept things and get to a place of being comfortable and trying to be happy in my current circumstance, things go wrong. And then I relapse into anxiety and such. So, what do I do? What do I do? I don't know. I just did laundry, that's why these are here. They're not my cum rags. My cum rags are way bigger than that. Huge, hugely. We got the biggest loads in the country. I cum the biggest. Nobody comes bigger than me. My cum is so stringy and strong. Fuck. Stringy and strong. I fucking need to the nipple. I don't know, dude. I just kind of wanted to vent about that because it's on my mind and it's just the thing that makes the most sense. And I'm not talking about this like it's a new revelation. Like I said, I've been thinking about this. I've been thinking about this for months. Like, I'm doing it to my fucking self. I know I am. But I don't know how to actually fix it. And yeah. So I guess that's that.